All right, everyone. Welcome back to the WDN4L podcast. That's Who Dat Nation for Life podcast. I am your host, Clay Johnson. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at ClayJ2K. I also have a page on TikTok at ClayJ2K540. Make sure you follow, the podcast page. I always find a way to fuck it up, but here we are. Make sure you follow the podcast page on Twitter at WDN4L pod, underscore pod, WDN4L underscore pod. That's the Twitter for the podcast. And, same at for YouTube. If you're watching me on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I'm not going to tell you to like and subscribe. Do what you want to do. I'm not gonna force you, obviously. If you want to like and subscribe, go ahead and do that. I appreciate it, obviously. For those that have been commenting on the YouTube videos, thank you so much. It means a lot. In fact, I had one guy tell me, never give up, keep going. I can tell you right now, dude, I very much appreciate that comment. Very much so. And I hope that you're coming back to watch again after commenting something like that. But B, I made this podcast just to get my voice out there. So, regardless of viewer count, sponsors, if I can even think about that at this point, I don't care about that right now. I just wanted to get my voice out, and that's what we're doing. So regardless of that, I'm just going to keep going. Like you said, I planned on doing that anyway. I wanted to be a voice for Saints fans. It doesn't seem like there's necessarily that aspect out there right now. It seems like everyone that has a podcast regarding the Saints is some sort of media member, which I very much respect. And in fact, I get a lot of my ideas from them. Obviously, Ross Jackson being, the most influential. But I'm just saying, I wanted to be a voice for the fans. So I'm going to do that regardless of how many people watch my stuff anyway. If anything, this is cool just for me and my family members to go back and watch and listen to. So yeah, again, very much appreciate you making the comment. And this podcast is only about 2 months and some change old at this point, and I've already gotten close to 100 views on my, my most recent video, episode 7. And to me, that's pretty cool. I don't know. We'll see how it goes from here. I got a couple cool topics for y'all today. We're going to start with breakout candidates from all three phases of the game. So that will be offense, defense, special teams. I got some draft day hot takes. I don't think LSU fans are going to enjoy my take. We'll get to it. One of my topics is, very relevant to the jersey that I'm wearing. Chris Olave is not going anywhere, so shut up. All you national media members out there that just are doing these clickbait trades where the Saints get fucking Joe Milton for Chris Olave, straight up, shut up. Just shut up. First of all, terrible value. And at least Joe Milton is now on the Cowboys, and we can just ignore all those anyway. I don't know why that was such a big... I can't even wrap my head around why that was one of the biggest, debates for these random fucking pages that are just Chris Olave and a 5th round pick for Joe Milton in the 3rd. Who says no? Me! Bitch, I say no. That's a terrible fucking trade. What's the point? What's the point? We already got Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler is... and if you think Joe Milton is better than Spencer Rattler, cool, whatever. Spencer's already on the team. You don't have to trade for him. You don't have to give up any sort of anything for him. He's definitely not worse enough to the point that you would want to trade for Joe Milton. So I can't even explain how happy I am that he's on the Cowboys now. The Patriots honestly finessed the shit out of the Cowboys for that. I understand it was just Joe Milton and a 7th for a 5th. I get that. I don't think Joe Milton will ever be anything other than a backup. And, maybe it wasn't a finesse. Maybe they made that trade simply for him to be the backup. But whatever. If that's the case, then sure, it was a good trade. I think trading for him in general is just insane. He had one good game against the Bills practice squad. So, and really all he did was fuck up the Patriots' chances of having the number one pick. I don't know what they were going to do with that number one pick because they don't need a quarterback, but you get my point. I mean, what was the point of them winning that game? So yeah. I don't know how that turned into that. That was talking about the Chris Olave. Well, I mean, I get how it turned into that, but point being, one of my topics will be that Chris Olave isn't going anywhere. And then I got 2 mock drafts for you. I got one where I did a 7-rounder just as the Saints. So there's trades in that one. And then I did, because we're almost 2 weeks away from the draft. Oh, I fucking love draft season. So this is like Christmas for me. Because of that, I also just did a round 1 of all 32 teams. I didn't do any trades in that one because it's hard to, when you're not making the picks after the first round, it's hard to like trade assets. I just wanted to do no trades. So if you want to do trades in your own. I didn't do trades in mine, so fuck off. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into my breakout candidates from all 3 phases of the game. So that's going to be offense, defense, special teams. It's going to be 3 in each category. And I'm going to start with offense because most people just like offense anyway, aka my wife. And then I'll do defense and then special teams. People really don't give a fuck about special teams for the most part. If you're like a true dedicated fan, then, or just, not necessarily the Saints, just in football in general, then I'm sure you pay attention to special teams. Very, very important aspect of the game. I don't think it's underrated because, like, if you know enough about football, you understand that it's very important. But I guess to the casual fan, special teams is a very underrated phase of the game. It can honestly win or lose you games. So anyway, jumping into offense, number 1, and this is not in order. It's not like I put these in order of just how much they're going to break out. You know what I mean? And I want to clarify, maybe by breakout, I just mean improve upon last year. Breakout is a more dynamic word of it. But I don't I'll get to it and explain what I mean. But like for my third guy, I don't necessarily think he's going to be like fucking amazing. He's going to be better than what he was last year. So that being said, my number 1 guy is Chris Olave, wearing his jersey. He seems to be the theme of this episode because I don't know why all of a sudden he is just looked at as this shitty guy. I truly don't get it. Any of the Saints fans out there that want him to be traded, you're stupid. And if you're watching this and you're taking offense to me calling you stupid, I'm glad, because you are stupid. He's a great receiver. My point being, as far as him breaking out, is going to be him getting back to being a 1,000-yard receiver. That is very much what he's capable of. You saw it his first 2 years. I mean, shit, he was a rookie catching passes from Andy Dalton. And he was the leading receiver for your team. He had over 1,000 yards as a rookie. Year 2, over 1,000 yards, catching passes from, a combination of Derek Carr and Jameis Winston. I can't stress enough, he has the potential to be a top 10 receiver. He is a route running technician. I mean, if you want to see what you can do, if you're like a high school kid out there that is, trying to play receiver and you want to see what you can do to get open, Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, Chris Olave, those are the guys that you want to watch. Their routes are insane. Chris Olave, literally, don't quote me on this. I want to say he's top 5 in the entire fucking league in creating separation. That means when he is running routes, and if you know what I'm talking about, then you've seen it. When he's running routes, he's leaving the DBs that are supposed to be covering him like 5 yards away from him. And in the NFL, that's not just wide open. That's like you could sit there and read a fucking book wide open. Like that is wide open. I mean, even Jake Hayner could make that pass. You know what I mean? If you have that much separation, you are, I don't want to sound like a broken record. So Chris Olave is a route running technician. The breakout part of him, because I mean, I might as well just kind of group this in as far as like him not going anywhere, because I don't know how much I'm going to be able to fully dive into that. I just don't want to be redundant in two different topics. So just keep in mind that we're talking about breakout candidates, but Chris Olave is obviously not going anywhere. Kellen Moore said that he is a big part of the plans moving forward, as he should be. Chris Olave can easily be your de facto number one receiver. And what I mean by that is everyone seems to think that number one receiver has to be a Michael Thomas. It has to be some big, physical guy that can take a beating going over the middle while catching you a first down. And sure, ideally, yes, sure. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that. Tyreek Hill is a number one receiver. He is not taking these fucking bully beatings over the middle. He's not. He is still the best receiver on the Dolphins, making him the number one receiver. Stephon Diggs, not taking huge beatings over the middle. He knows how to protect himself, which is something Chris Olave is simply just going to have to work at. But he can do it. Point being, he is your number one receiver. You draft another guy, like everyone wants the Saints to draft Tetairoa McMillan. I'm not like, he's in my top 5 of who they should take at 9, but I'm not like super pumped on him. You know what I mean? There's a report that recently came out that he is lazy, kind of like he doesn't like watching film. And yeah, while that video did come out in 2023, or it got recorded in 2023 when he was a freshman, and yes, people can change. I have heard, I heard this from the Saints Happy Hour podcast from Ralph Marlborough. So I'm sure if you listen to that and you came over here and listened to this, then you're just hearing the same thing. But I'm just saying, I have heard that he's still lazy and he still doesn't like watching film, and Kellen Moore does not like that. So I don't think the Saints are going to draft Tetairoa McMillan, but we kind of got a little bit off topic. Point being is, hypothetically speaking, if you draft a Tetairoa McMillan, Chris Olave is still your number one receiver. He is leagues better than him. He just is. His route running is miles ahead of Tetairoa McMillan, as it should be. Chris Olave is not a veteran, but he is weathered in the NFL. He will be going into his 4th year. So, yes, there's a bit of a savviness to him already that Tet will not have. But like I'm just not trying to diminish Tetairoa by building up Chris Olave. I'm just simply saying, like, Olave is leagues better than him, as he should be. So he would be your number one receiver regardless. Point being, he's not huge. He's still 6 foot, but he's not this huge guy. But that doesn't mean he can't be your number one receiver. He is your number one receiver. He just doesn't need to be taking these beatings over the middle. You know what I mean? And that's okay. That's fine. You can draft a Tetairoa McMillan, like I said, hypothetically, to make those catches, obviously among many others, and to be your red zone threat. That's fine. That doesn't make him your number one receiver, though. If he outproduces Chris Olave, then yes, he would be your number one receiver. Chris Olave is your number one receiver. He is insanely talented. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. His ceiling is top 10 in the league. I don't care what anyone says. It simply is. With his floor being a top 20 guy in the league, and fuck, that's still a number one receiver on many teams. So, he's not going anywhere. Like I said, I know I'm kind of blending topics here. I don't care. You know how I am. I'm just going off on a fucking tangent. He's not going anywhere. Stop with these bullshit trades where we send him to the Patriots for a third round pick, but we're also sending a sixth. That's stupid. Terrible, 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 terrible trade. Fucking awful. That is terrible. If you want to send me a first round pick for Chris Olave, we can start talking. But honestly, if you're wanting to send a first round pick for just about anyone on the team, you're willing to have that conversation. So that's not a knock on Chris Olave by saying that. With that being said, main reason he's not going anywhere, other than, obviously, like I said, I don't think he should, so I'm just saying, main reason he's not going anywhere, he is at his lowest value that he is going to have in his entire career. People are talking about for only third round picks. That's blasphemous. It further feeds into my point that the Saints aren't just going to be like, oh my God, let's make sure we trade him. No. No. If you end up not wanting to pay him, sure, you don't want to pay him. I get it. Receivers are expensive. You're probably going to draft a rookie at some point anyway. I get it. But you're not trading him. You're not. You're not. I don't want to go any further into it. He's not going anywhere. And on top of that, he's one of my breakout candidates for offense. I managed to bring it all back together. So I'm a little proud of myself for that. Point being, like I said, he's not going anywhere. Shut up, random Twitter accounts, ML Football, where you managed to get verified. Oh, wait, you only just have to fucking pay $7.99 a month to be verified now. So verifications hold no weight. So shut up. Chris Olave is a Saint. And he's a breakout candidate. I think he's going to get back to 1,000 yards receiving, is my point. All right, take a breath. Forgot that we were on this same topic, huh? My number 2 breakout candidate, and I promise you I'm not going to go on a 5.5 minute rant about this one, Taliesin Fuanga. Now, as with O-linemen, it's a little bit different when you're clarifying that they're going to be a breakout candidate. He already last year cemented himself as arguably one of, if not the best, first-round picks that any team made. So you know what? Thank you, Dennis Allen. You made a good pick before you left. That is something Sean Payton didn't even fucking do. His last pick was Peyton Turner before he left. I'll go on a Sean Payton rant on a different episode. Okay, so Taliesin Fuanga cemented himself as one of the best, if not the best, first-round picks last year in general. So that goes without saying, he was one of, if not the best, offensive linemen. Rookies, clarifying, rookies. Rookie offensive linemen last year. I think he was the best. I'm a Saints fan. I am biased. Still think that there's actual, data and shit out there that explains that he was the best rookie O-lineman last year. So my point being, how does he take a step forward? I think he can make a Pro Bowl. I think he can put himself in the top 10 O-linemen in general. Or, if we're being a little bit more realistic, top 10 at his position in the league, left tackle. Kellen Moore said that they view him as a left tackle. Makes sense. Like I just finished saying, he clearly cemented himself as one of, if not the best, rookie O-lineman, and probably top 15 at his position in general last year. Again, look at me. I don't know how I got here, but I'm about to thank Dennis Allen twice in the same motherfucking episode. Thank you, Dennis Allen. You not only drafted Taliesin Fuanga, but you managed to switch him to left tackle, even though everyone was saying you're dumb for that. Thank you. Holy shit. So he is locked in as your left tackle, and that is amazing because same thing with Teron Armstead. Like, you drafted him, and now you don't have to worry about that position for a very long time. A very long time, barring injuries, and that's something that we don't want anyway. So yeah, I think Taliesin Fuanga is my number 2 breakout candidate for next year. I think he makes a Pro Bowl. I think he, possibly only allows 1 sack, if that, next year is my point. He takes that step forward. Whew. So, yeah. So, number 3. All right, so like I said earlier, I need to stress that when I say breakout for this player, I don't think he is going to all of a sudden be a 1,000-yard rusher. I don't. So it's Kendra Miller, running back out of TCU. He'll be going into his 3rd year. What I think by calling him a breakout candidate, and I still think the Saints draft a running back. In fact, you have to. You have to draft a running back. I'm sorry, but you do. Because you can't rely on this kid yet in Kendra. You just can't, and it sucks that that's the case, but it is what it is. I'm digging a hole. I'm trying to get back to my point. I think even drafting a rookie running back, depending who it is now, like if it's like Ashton Genty, Kendra, I'm sorry, like you're running back 3, but in which case then my breakout candidacy for him is stupid. But as much as I want them to draft Genty, I don't see it. It just seems like one of those picks that everyone wants, which is why it won't happen. You know what I mean? So depending on who they draft, if Kendra could possibly beat this rookie out, and you kind of want that anyway, because you see I've seen the flashes of potential from Kendra. This rookie coming in, sure, there's college tape, but you haven't seen him doing anything in the league. I have genuinely seen Kendra make people miss multiple times. And that's what Alvin Kamara was good at when he was first starting out in the league. That's what kept getting him touches and touches and touches. Now, Kendra is not as good as Alvin. Probably. I'm not even going to say that because I just don't no, he's not as good as Alvin, but I'm not going to say that he probably won't ever be just because that's such a hard, duh. I really doubt Kendra is going to be the franchise leading rusher and touchdown scorer. So, duh. So let me just not say that. But what I'm saying is, as far as him being a breakout, is he's going to improve. I think his yards per carry will improve. I think, and you hope and pray that this new strength and conditioning staff helps him not get hurt. You know what I mean? And he actually plays fucking, dude, I would take fucking 12 games from him at this point. You know what I mean? Like, ideally, he plays in 15 games for you, 14 games for you next year. And like I said, you see, excuse me, you see his yards per carry go up. No, he's not going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. No, he's not going to be your, leading touchdown getter in that position. So, no, that's not what I'm saying. But again, he's going to improve, I think. So that would be my 3rd for the offense. And now we move on to defense. I love watching defense. Maybe it's because for 10 years, Jesus, Clay. Damn near 5 though at this point, if not more. That's all the Saints were good at was defense. So I'm cool with watching a good defense. I like watching it. It's I don't know. It's more like chess when a team is really good at defense and whatever. Some people think it's boring, and I get it. Whatever. Top 3 breakout candidates for defense. Number 1, and again, not in order, just saying. Number 1, Kool-Aid McKinstry. He might be your number 1 corner next year. I understand if you think Alante is better. I do. I get it. But Alante, to me, is not an outside corner anymore. He is a slot corner, and that's fine. There is always going to be a position for him, especially in Brandon Staley's defense. But we're talking about Kool-Aid. We will get to Alante. Spoiler alert. Kool-Aid McKinstry might be your number one corner next year. And I don't dislike that at all. I think he is going to thrive in this Brandon Staley defense. He is just the type of corner that doesn't make headlines because of the way that he plays. He's not going out there and getting all these picks, but he is strapping receivers if they're on his side. He had some hiccups last year. That's fine. He's a rookie. I don't like that he wears number 14, but I'm not gonna come at him for it. I'm sure he'll end up picking a different number. But I think he's a breakout candidate. I do. I think he ends up being, I don't know. I have a feeling he ends up being your number one corner, and that's obviously good. That's good. He was a second round pick. If Dennis Allen did one thing, he knew how to draft DBs, especially in the second round. I don't know. I don't know how he was good at that. I mean, he was a DB himself, so I get it. Coaches just have this one position that is their baby, you know what I mean? And he knew how to draft DBs. Somehow I turned this episode into talking about Dennis Allen. Kool-Aid McKinstry is my number one breakout candidate on defense. Number two, Alontae Taylor. So this is because I think he goes back to slot and you see him thrive again and you don't see him give up almost 1,000 yards in coverage. That's fucking awful. And that is not representative of the type of player and, how good of a DB Alontae Taylor is. He is a good DB. He is. He's a slot corner now. And it just is what it is. I mean, he like I said, he's going to thrive in Brandon Staley's defense because of the type of skill set that he has. He can play slot, but he tackles like a safety. Brandon Staley is going to be moving him all over the place. It's going to be great for Alontae. It is. And that is my main point as far as him having a breakout season. He's going to be an impact player. If you want to consider him the number one corner, then by all means, go ahead. I still think it'll be Kool-Aid, but that's not to diminish Alontae. I just think Kool-Aid, like technically speaking, is actually a little bit better. But Alontae is much more disruptive, much more of the flashy plays, which is ironic. Like, they are polar opposites when it comes to that, which is why I think Kool-Aid is more of a number one. He is the type that shuts down a receiver and doesn't get, I don't want to say recognition for it because the way PFF is these days and whatnot, but he won't get the camera on him as much as Alontae, because Alontae is going to be getting sacks, forcing fumbles. I would say getting picks, but he has no hands. It sucks for it. It does, but he gets the PBUs, which is pass breakups. That's my number two on defense is Alontae Taylor. He's going to go back to being a slot corner and just thriving in this Brandon Staley defense. Number three, Chase Young. Yep. That's right. I think he's finally healthy for a full off season. So he's already preparing for the season right now. I think he now has a chip on his shoulder because people were talking about that injury thing and how about he ended up being a bust and whatnot. And I'd like to really sum it up. The reason I'm putting him on here is I think he turns a lot of those pressures into sacks. He just needs to finish some of them. But I just think they'll be in a better position to get sacks anyway. When you're giving up 5 yards a carry, by the time it's third down, if you even get to third down, it's third and short. They're not dropping back to pass. That's when pass rushers pin their ears back and get the sacks, is if you force them into, third and long, which it can be something just like 3rd and 7. That's considered third and long. You know what I mean? But I think he'll be in a better position. Brandon Staley wants to stop the run, and that's great. You know why? Because it'll be, instead of 2nd and fucking 4, because you just gave up a 5.5 yard carry on first down, it'll be like 2nd and 8, or hopefully 2nd and 10. You know what I'm saying? And then it can get to third down, and hopefully it's third and long. And Chase Young can pin his ears back, rush the passer from a standing stance, not from a three-point stance, from a standing stance, which is fine because of the odd front. That's where he'll thrive. I don't even think this is a hot take. I think Chase Young turns these pressures into sacks. And then all of a sudden, the Saints actually got a steal with the contract that they gave him. He's currently being paid as like the 16th pass rusher in the entire league. But he was top 10 in pressures with 5.5 sacks. This is going to end up being a fucking long episode. So, special teams. I probably won't be like talking super much about this because it's hard to go like crazy in depth into a special team player. But so my 3 breakout candidates for special teams. I'm not going to say Groupie. I think Groupie already improved a lot last year. I think he is just straight up your kicker, and that's great for him. Good for him. So your punter, Matthew Hayball, there's a reason Darren Rizzi liked him. I don't know it. Well, actually I do. That's a lie. Phil Galliano is like Darren Rizzi, so he likes the Australian style. That's why Hayball is still going to be there as your punter. I'm sure they'll bring in competition. I'm sure they will. They always do. And that's fine. That's good. So if he loses out to whoever they bring in, then I sound stupid and whatever, I sound stupid. But if anything, it'll just be this episode is outdated. I think he breaks out just in the sense of more punts being pinned inside the 20. He started to do that towards the end. He did. He's a rookie. I mean, it's hard being a rookie, especially a punter. So yeah, I think he breaks out. Breaks out. I think he just improves. So here we go. Here are the real ones. Because, you're a punter. Rico Payton. I think Rico Payton is... Now, I don't think JT Gray is, about to retire by any means, but I think Rico Payton is in line to kind of be just like JT Gray, solidify that gunner position, and just take off and run with that. Rico Payton is very underrated at gunner. Actually, he did very well last year. I think he's a little bit underrated as a corner in general. Keep in mind, he was an undrafted free agent. He played D2 in college. Pittsburgh State, which is in Kansas, by the way. Crazy, right? I guess there's a Pittsburgh, Kansas. Whatever. Their logo is pretty cool. I know that much. I think he's underrated as a DB, but we're not talking about that. He'll make the roster regardless because of the special teams. He's a great special teams player, so I think he'll break out. Again, he'll just improve. Like I said, for the special teams ones, I guess we'll just go ahead and say improve instead of break out, because I really doubt he's about to be all pro or something, but he's gonna improve. And then my third one being Anthony Orji. The Saints have always had Craig Robertson is Craig Robertson is a perfect example of what I mean. They always have this linebacker that is a special teams captain that is just perfect at that. Should they play? No. As far as just straight up on defense? No. Craig Robertson was getting exposed when he was playing on defense, but he was a beast as a special teams captain. And that's what I think Anthony Orji will be. His last name is fun to say. Everyone likes a good orgy. So, yeah, there's that. And I just think he'll be, he'll end up being a special teams captain for you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into this topic, my draft day hot takes. This, ideally, this causes people to make some comments on my YouTube video. If you're listening to this just from the podcast platform and you want to, scream at me or shoot me a DM on Twitter, like I said, is WDN4L_pod. You can put me on blast. You can just at me in general. Tell me I'm stupid. Sure, whatever. These are hot takes. This is all about I'm stupid sometimes. I went to public school, so I forget words and whatnot every now and then. So let's go ahead and we'll get into the hot takes. So LSU fans, if you want to tap a little bit, if you're on YouTube, keep tapping the screen till I'm done with this. I get it. Don't kill me. Will Campbell. I want to clarify this. I want to clarify. Will Campbell is the best O-line prospect in this entire draft. Okay, I am very aware of that. He is versatile. He can play tackle. He can play guard. If he was drafted to the Saints, he would play guard though. So keep that in mind. I think Will Campbell at pick 9 is arguably one of the worst picks you could make this year. Again, I'm very sorry for saying that. An interior O lineman at pick 9 is fucking disgusting to me. That is so gross, such a waste of a top 10 pick. He could end up being all pro as a rookie, and I still would not like that pick. Well, I mean, I would like it, but hindsight is fucking 2020. I hate it. I hate that pick at 9. Stop mocking it. It's terrible to me. So I hate that pick at 9. That's my point. It's a bad pick at 9. Whatever. That's hot take number 1. We're moving on to the next one. Trading back into the first round to draft Jackson Dart is not a bad idea, but that's not the hot take. The hot take is I don't think that that's going to be a thing. I don't think you guys realize, like you don't want to like him, and I get that. I will go on a Jackson Dart fucking rant and tangent all you fucking want. I can sit here and defend him till the cows come home. I don't think you realize that he is not going to make it to the end of the first round for you to make this trade back that everyone keeps talking about, like trading back into the first round. I don't think it's going to happen. If you think he's a little too rich for your blood at 9, then maybe the Saints trade back, accumulate more draft capital, and then draft Jackson Dart. But I think he's a good pick at 9. I do. I think the Steelers really want him. I think he is a better prospect than Shadur because Shadur Sanders is not elite at anything. He's very good at everything, but he's not elite at anything. Jackson Dart has an elite arm. Probably the best in this class. And he has elite ball placement with that arm as far as deep passes go. So, on top of that, he damn near had a 70% completion percentage. Almost 3,000 yards passing. You can look this up. I'm not just making this shit up. Once again, I got to chime in because I fucked up words-wise. I said Jackson Dart almost had 3,000 yards passing. I'm at 4,000. If he only had almost 3,000, that would be terrible. So yeah, I meant he had 3,900 yards. He almost had 4,000 yards passing. 29 touchdowns, only 6 picks. He improved every single year. Sure, he was in an RPO-centric offense. I don't care. I don't want to hear that. He is a better... So the hot take for this being a little bit of a mixture of I don't think he's going to be at the end of the first round for you to trade back into the first round to get him, like everyone keeps talking about. Ross Jackson, for example, on Locked On Saints. I think you're going to have to draft him at 9, which is, again, part of the hot take. I think that's a good pick. It is. If you think he's the guy, he's the fucking guy. And Kellen Moore went to his pro day in person. He's the only one that he went to in person besides Will Howard. I don't like Will Howard, but whatever. You're not taking Will Howard in the first round. That's more so just if you don't manage to get Jackson Dart, you got another guy that you like. He might have went to Quinn Ewers. I think he did. So, again, another guy, not in the first round, not in the second round, hopefully not in the third round. If you're taking Quinn or Will, you're taking them in like the 4th or 5th round, that's fine. I don't like it. I think Spencer is already better than those two, but Spencer is not better than Jackson Dart. It's close. It is close. Again, so the hot take being, I don't think Jackson will be at the tail end of the first round for you to be able to trade back into. The other hot take being he's a better prospect than Shedeur, in my opinion. So you're going to have to draft him at 9. Okay? So let's move on to the next one. Again, y'all are going to be coming at me, and it's totally fine. Leave your comments on the video, or shoot me, at me on Twitter, DM me on Twitter, whatever you want. I love debating football, so it's totally fine. I wouldn't have made this topic if it weren't for me being okay with defending my takes. So just because Kellen Moore is an offensive coach doesn't necessarily mean that pick 9, which is ironic because of what I just said, but doesn't necessarily mean that pick 9 is going to be an offensive player. In fact, you actually tend to see the opposite happen. For example, who was Dennis Allen's first pick as the head coach of the Saints? Chris Olave, wide receiver. The way it works is usually, and people just don't think this way, which is fine, but usually if a coach is an offensive coach, they know what they are capable of doing on offense. They want to help their defensive coordinator out by drafting a guy for him to maybe overcompensate for the fact that they will not be, and they, as in the head coach, not be super locked in on that side of the ball because you're leaving it to your defensive coordinator. So maybe that's not a hot take. I think a lot of people don't think that way. So that was that. Okay. Another hot take, because, Saints Happy Hour podcast, for example, Kevin is obsessed with the Saints trading back. Obsessed. And I get it. The people that like the thought of trading back, I get it. But I'm here to tell you, my hot take is, don't do it. You are in the top 10 picks for the first time, and I don't even know how long. Make the pick. Get the value. Make the pick. Ideally, you don't want to be back here. So you're not going to be in the position to draft the top 10 guy again. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, make the pick. That's my hot take. Just make the pick. So, last hot take. If I look fucking zooted or anything, my allergies are, I live in Virginia. I don't know how it is in your state, but pollen here is like my car, when I go out in the morning, there's going to be a yellow blanket over it. It's disgusting. So I have allergies. Okay, so last hot take. And it's ironic because of what I just said about my eyes, but I am so tired. I'm so tired of this. The 2026 quarterback class, shut up. It's not better than this class. Do you know why? Because we have no idea who's going to come out, if they're going to have a good season next year. We don't know any of that. We don't, because it hasn't happened yet. It's such a dangerous mentality to be like, yeah, I love Jackson Dart, and he even fell to us at 40, but, next year's a better class anyway, so you might as well just get other players. That's so stupid. First of all, no one's going to do that. No one's going to do that. Every single year, they're going to draft the quarterbacks that are in the class. You know why? Because who fucking knows what could happen between now and then? Y'all love Arch Manning, and here's a part of my hot take. We don't know shit about this kid. We don't. We watched him get shit on by Georgia. You know who didn't get shit on by Georgia? Austin Simmons. He probably won't be coming out next year. I would argue Arch Manning isn't going to be coming out next year, and he might end up being good. He might. But what if he gets hurt? What if whoever the fuck else y'all are talking about at quarterback gets hurt, they're going to stay. They're going to play again next year in college. These kids are making more money in college unless they're a first-round pick anyway. So stop talking about this 2026 quarterback class as if it's like a sure thing. It's not. It is not. It's all speculation. It's so stupid. I don't. Y'all want to come in my DMs, like I said, at me on Twitter, whatever. I don't care. Like, stop talking about the 2026 quarterback class because it is not a sure thing by any fucking means. Focus on this one. All right. It's draft season. Well, it's mock draft season, but it is draft season as well. I love NFL draft. I always have. I don't even care. Like, obviously, I love who the Saints pick, but, like, I just love the draft in general. I love seeing who everyone picks. This is arguably the most optimistic a fan can be about their team regardless of their position. In fact, my point gets proven further. If you were shitty last year, you get a better pick. So, like, you're going to be more optimistic right now more than ever because, hypothetically speaking, the Titans draft Cam Ward. Holy shit, we just got a franchise quarterback. He hasn't played yet. So, you get what I'm saying? Like, you can be as optimistic as you want in this moment more than ever right now. So I love draft season. I love doing mock drafts. It's like I said earlier, it's like Christmas to me. So I got 2 mock drafts for you. It's going to be so fun. The first one is going to be a 7-round, like, just the Saints mock draft. I love, like, honestly, this is probably my favorite one that I've done so far with them. And then my second one will be, I'm going to pick for every single team in the first round. Only the first round. So there's no trades. Just because it gets a little messy. I just, stuck to the rules of no trades for when I did the first round. For every team, that is. Okay, so start with the Saints. Duh. So I'm going to lay out the fact that I made trades in this one, right? So as they happen, I'll let you know. Because, for example, like for this one, actually, we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So at pick 9, running back Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State. Generational prospect. Bring me that motherfucker. I'm making this pick every single time. I'm so ready for this. Like, if it doesn't turn out, like I said, to where you draft Jackson Dart at 9, like, I can't even explain how much I want Ashton Jeanty on the Saints. He would flawlessly let you transition from Alvin Kamara being your franchise running back to him being your franchise running back and when that time comes. But in the meantime, you can extend Alvin's career by giving him this rookie that actually succeeded the most out of all these running backs in this class against a stacked box. Go look it up. Go look it up. Go look it up. I'm not going to fucking sit here and argue with y'all about it. You go look it up. So, Ashton Jeanty, pick 9. Pick 40, I don't know how this happened. If this happens in real life, this would be fucking ideal. This would be the perfect first 2 picks. I'm getting, you can tell I'm literally getting giddy right now. This would be the most ideal scenario, would be Ashton Jeanty, and then at pick 40, quarterback Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. Could you imagine that? Those two, like, as your first and second pick? Dude, I would be ready to tell you the Saints are going to win 11 games. Like, oh my God, that is so ideal. So at pick 40, I managed to get Jackson Dart. It's just the way the board fell. Again, I didn't control any of these other teams, so it's just the way the board fell. And it is possible that it happens. Absolutely. So yeah, at pick 40, quarterback out of Ole Miss, Jackson Dart. So pick 71 rolled around. The Jets called me up. They were like, how would you like to slide back 2 picks That's all. You're just sliding back 2 picks. And you're picking up pick 145 in the 5th round and pick 207 in the 6th round. Saints don't even have a 5th round pick currently. So I was like, dude, yes, fine. Except, and then at pick 73, I got edge rusher Princely Umamielen out of Ole Miss. I know that I am biased because I'm an Ole Miss fan, but I don't care, man. This is damn near a fucking home run with your first 3 picks, especially including that trade, dude. Princely Umamielen is honestly perfect for Brandon Staley's defense. He's a bit of a tweener, so he would be like a perfect stand-up pass rusher. He led the SEC in sacks, so there's that. Yeah, I mean, I'm biased again, but there's stats out there too to prove it. Umamielen would be a perfect pick, especially for this defense. So then pick 93 rolled around. Then pick 93 rolled around in the 3rd round. The Eagles called me up, and it was my turn to accept the trade from the Eagles instead of vice versa. So the Eagles called me up. They were like, how would you like to slide back 3 picks to 96 and pick up pick 134 in the 4th round? Yeah, hell yeah. So that happened. Traded. Slide back 3 picks. Now I'm at pick 96. I drafted Harold Fannin Jr., tight end out of Bowling Green. I almost said Boise State. I love Harold Fannin Jr., bro. Love Harold Fannin Jr. He's just a little fucking bowling ball, but at tight end. I love Harold Fannin Jr. So then at pick 112, I got Joshua Farmer, defensive tackle out of Florida State. At 131, I got linebacker Jeffrey Bassa out of Oregon. Are you starting to see like why I said this is my favorite mock that I've ever done? It's insane. And then remember, because of the Eagles, I got pick 134. So because of that, I was able to then draft, and this is 3 picks after Jeffrey Bassa, I was able to draft Lathan Ransom, safety out of Ohio State. And then, again, because of the Jets, I was able to get pick 145, and that's only, why did I have to think about that? That's only 11 picks after just drafting Lathan Ransom. Zy Alexander, cornerback out of LSU. That gives you a starting outside corner with Kool-Aid McKinstry, and you slide Alontae Taylor into the slot, like I said. That's perfect. And you managed to do that in the 5th round. You got you a starting corner. Bro, this draft, I love this mock. At pick 184, I drafted Ty Felton, wide receiver out of Maryland. He's a bit of a sleeper to me. At 207, which is one of the trade picks, I then got Joshua Gray, guard out of Oregon State. Slide him next to Tally. They already got chemistry, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. At 248, I drafted Jimmy Horn Jr., a wide receiver out of Colorado. I think he is a sleeper. I know that this body... No, sorry. I know this body type is like something the Saints already have a plethora of, but fuck it. Why not add more? You know what I mean? He is a sleeper. I think Jimmy Horn is a beast. So at 248 too, that's a great pick. And then at 254, which would be the last pick of this mock, I got Tyler Cooper, guard out of Minnesota. Just give you some depth, especially because I'm sure a lot of y'all were like, dude, you didn't draft a single O-lineman. If it's how it falls, it's how it falls. You know what I mean? But yeah, so with 2 of the last 3 picks of this draft, I went ahead and got some O-linemen. I don't know. By the way, when I said Joshua Gray, slide him next to Tally, I don't know if he would start over Dylan Radins, which is the new guard that the Saints brought in via free agency. I don't know if he would manage to start over him. I'm just saying. I mean, shit, maybe Tyler Cooper starts. You never know. I'm just saying he would have chemistry with Tally. All right, so... now we move into my first round mock. My, NFL Network does it like this. This is Clay Johnson's mock draft 1.0. At pick 1, which is Tennessee Titans, I can't stress this enough. No trades. Okay? No trades. So at pick 1, Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. Pick 2, the Browns. I went ahead and I got Abdul Carter. Which is a edge out of Penn State. I think the Browns might end up trading for Kirk Cousins. So they don't need a rookie quarterback. Or if they do draft a rookie quarterback, they don't need Shedeur at pick 2. I feel like that's a reach for them. So why not just get Abdul Carter and just make your defense absolutely disgusting? Okay, so at pick 3, the New York Giants drafted Travis Hunter, wide receiver, corner, whatever you want to call him. The Giants are arguably one of the only teams I could honestly see letting him play both sides. So, because they simply need help at wide receiver and corner. Obviously, it would be up to them as far as like which position he. What word am I looking for? Like whether he would just mainly be a corner that plays some wide receiver packages, or if he's mainly a wide receiver that plays some, whatever it be, like your nickel or dime DB. I think he's a corner, so I think he would be opposite of Paulson Adebo, and then you let him play a couple wide receiver packages. He's already better than Wan'Dale Robinson. He's already better than Kadarius Toney was. He's already... he would be their wide receiver too, funny enough. So yeah, I think I think the Giants would let him play both sides. They just seem like the type of team that would do it. They're so bad. So pick 4, the Patriots, Will Campbell. See, I told y'all. I told you LSU fans, don't come at me. I still made your boy a top 5 pick. I just didn't want him to go to the Saints. So pick 4 to the Patriots. Now I think the Patriots trade back, but again, no trades. So pick 4 to the Patriots, Will Campbell out of LSU. Pick 5 to the Jaguars, Mason Graham. They have a lot of needs. I think he's just BPA for them, which is best player available. At pick 6, a lot of people put Ashton Genty here because of Pete Carroll. I don't know. I think they draft Tedero McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona. I do. I mean, they need a receiver. So, yeah, that's my pick. At pick 7, I went to the Jets. I went Tyler Warren. It might be a hot take. It might. But tell me who their starting tight end is. And then while you're at it, tell me who their starting tight end was last year. Because his name is Tyler Conklin. They need a tight end. I could see that. At pick 8, I've heard the Panthers want to trade back, which I would be cool with. But again, no trades. So I went Mikael Williams out of Georgia, edge. And then for this one, I didn't take Ashton Genty for the Saints. I know. I took Jalen Walker because it would be a really good pick for the Saints. He would be perfect for this Brandon Staley's defense. So at pick 9 for the Saints, Jalen Walker out of edge out of Georgia. It says edge. He's just very versatile in general. Pick 10, Armand Membu, tackle to the Bears out of Missouri. Caleb Williams needs protection because he holds on to the ball like it's, stuck to him or something. And here you go. Here we go. Here's my hot take. Pick 11, the San Francisco 49ers. Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, Colorado. Yep. I think Kyle Shanahan might not want to pay Brock Purdy. This is my like crazy take. I think he might not want to pay Brock Purdy. Shedeur is the perfect type of quarterback for him. He is a field general that will do everything that Kyle Shanahan needs of him. And he honestly has a higher ceiling than Brock Purdy, which is crazy because Purdy went to the Super Bowl, but you get my point. Yeah, Shedeur Sanders to the San Francisco 49ers. Pick 12 could have been Ashton Genty. I actually have him falling in this, which honestly, the Cowboys probably would take him. But pick 12, the Cowboys, I had them taking Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas. My boy Adam, that I will eventually be doing a mock draft with on this very podcast, he told me about this, and it seems like that actually is a pretty popular pick among, mock draft analysts now. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. They need a receiver opposite of CD, and they lost Brandon Cooks. Matthew Golden will probably be better than Brandon Cooks was last year. Anyway, so, yeah. Pick 12 to the Cowboys, Matthew Golden, receiver, Texas. Pick 13 to the Dolphins, I got Jade Barron out of Tejas, or Texas. They just lost Javon Holland to the Giants. Don't know why he wanted to go to the Giants, but he wanted to go to the Giants. So, yeah, Jade Barron can play slot corner or safety for them, either one. He can also play outside corner, just saying. Colts. I've heard the Colts very much want an offensive tackle, so I went Kelvin Banks out of Texas here. Falcons. So I hate the Falcons, as we should. Fuck the Falcons. And I think that they will find a way to fuck this pick up, because they always do. I have them taking an edge rusher, but truly, it would not surprise me if they drafted Will Johnson. They do need a corner. I mean, I think AJ Terrell is a little bit overrated in general, but tell me who their corner is other than AJ Terrell. Exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised if they draft Will Johnson if he's there, and just make Falcons fans even more mad. But I took Shamar Stewart for them, because they're still going to find a way to fuck it up. Even if they draft the edge rusher, they're drafting a dude that only had 1.5 sacks last year. I don't care what his RAS score is. That's terrible. So they would be the team that would spend a top 15 pick on a dude that only had not even 2 sacks last year. Pick 16, the Cardinals, Jihad Campbell, linebacker out of Bama. I feel like they need a linebacker. Pick 17, the Bengals, Mike Green, edge rusher out of Marshall. It feels like they're going to let Trey Hendrickson walk because they decided to pay T. Higgins. I went on that rant on an earlier episode. So if you want to listen to that, go listen to that. I just think it's stupid as hell that they paid both Jamar and T. I would have paid Jamar, told T sorry, and yeah, but they didn't. They paid both, and now Trey Hendrickson's probably going to walk, so they draft Mike Green out of Marshall. Pick 18, I went Kenneth Grant to the Seahawks out of Michigan. I don't know a super much about the Seahawks, but I do know that their head coach is a defensive guy, so I went with what was the suggested pick. Pick 19 to the Bucks. Nick Emanwari. He just feels like a little beast. I say little, but I was just saying it he's not little at all. He just feels like the type of player that I'm just going to be stuck having to watch twice a year shit on the Saints. Plus, you put him there with Mr. Antoine Winfield. And, yeah. I fucking hate Antoine Winfield, dude. So, because of me letting Genty slide, the Broncos get to pick him at 20, dude. So, my boy Adam, who's a Broncos fan, is probably listening to this right now being like, yes, yes, yes. And I got you, Adam. I got you. Y'all drafted Genty, bro. So Sean Payton gets him a fucking 3-down back. At pick 21, and this hurt my heart. It did. The Steelers draft Jackson Dart, quarterback out of Ole Miss, who they literally, as of today, which is the 4th of April, just invited him to a private workout. So, at pick 22, the Chargers take Colston Loveland. I don't think there's any need to overthink that. Jim Harbaugh gets his former tight end, and they need a tight end. So, at pick 23 with the Packers, I took Omari and Hampton. They have Josh Jacobs, but they like having 2 running backs. They do. A.J. Dillon went to the Eagles. They like their little bowling ball running backs. I don't know. I feel like Omari and Hampton to the Packers is not that crazy. At pick 24, Will Johnson, corner out of Michigan. The Vikings. When I made this pick, I was like, J.J. McCarthy's going to tell them to do it. Maybe, but also, they need a corner. So, yeah. I mean, if J.J. McCarthy is, in their ear at all, and vouching for this guy, especially because he's fallen this far when he could be the number one corner in the entire class. Yeah, I could see it. At pick 25 to the Texans, I went Josh Simmons, which is a tackle out of Ohio State. I personally don't think the I personally don't think the Texans, that's how you know I should be done talking soon. I personally don't think the Texans give a fuck about their O-line. They just seem to make all these moves that don't support the O-line. Why would you already have a bad O-line and then trade away Laramie Tunsil? Anyway, so in this, they instantly replaced Tunsil. He's not going to be as good. He's just not. Tunsil is one of the best, if not the best, tackles in the entire league. So there's that. I forgot where he got traded. So yeah. At pick 26 to the Rams, I got Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. I think the Rams look at him and they're like, holy shit, Aaron Donald 2.0. Obviously not as good as Aaron Donald, but you get my point. Pick 27 to the Ravens, I got Tyler Booker, which is a guard out of Alabama. The Ravens need O-line. A lot of people think that the Ravens had a good O-line last year. It wasn't bad, but they just scheme around the fact that they don't have the best O-lineman, which is cool. Do that by all means. They scheme around that and the fact that Lamar can extend plays all on his own. So, point being, this is a good pick for them. Tyler Booker, guard out of Alabama. Pick 28 to the Lions. This is where James Pierce Jr. finally gets taken. He'll probably get taken before this. I can see the Bucs taking him, which would make him a top 20 pick, which is what he should be. He's an athletic freak, but in this I had the Lions taking him. So the rich get richer because they have Aiden Hutchinson and him. At pick 29 to the Commanders, I got Malachi Starks, which is a safety out of Georgia. Commanders fans, don't lie to yourself. You need a safety. I'm sure you know it. Pick 30 to the Bills, Derek Harmon, which is a defensive tackle out of Oregon. He might be the best. He might not be. Well, he's not better than Mason Graham, but you get my point. He might be number 2. He might be whatever. Pick 31 to the Chiefs. It just feels like a place that Gray Zabel gets drafted. By the way, who was it? I think it was Mike Triplett on WWL or Jeff Nowak, whichever one. They sound so similar. They sound like the exact same person. Maybe it was Jeff Nowak. My bad. If it was Jeff, I'm sorry, Mike. And if it was Mike, I'm sorry, Jeff. Y'all sound exactly alike. And I don't remember. I intake so many podcasts, Saints-wise. I don't remember which one it was. I'm starting to now think it was Mike Triplett of NOF when he was talking with Brandon. Point being, he said Gray Zabel, and that made me so mad. If you just spell it out, there's one B and one L. I love listening to y'all, so I'm just kind of poking fun. I'm not being a dick or anything, but it's Gray Zabel. Anyway, the Chiefs take him. That just feels like a place that he would go. Guard out of North Dakota State. And then I rounded it all out with the Eagles taking Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State, wide receiver. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up now. I just want to thank y'all for tuning in, whether it be on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. If you're following my TikTok and you're liking some of the things that I'm posting, I very much appreciate you. If you are on Twitter and you want to, like I said, come at me, tell me I'm an idiot, all that, whatever. I just make sure you follow me. You follow the WDN4L_pod on Twitter to do those things. Or if you want, you can follow just my personal Twitter at ClayJ2K. It is private though, and if I feel like you look weird or something, no, I'm not judgmental. I'm just saying, if I feel weird about certain people trying to follow me, I'm just gonna deny it, because the main reason my personal Twitter is private is I like, being able to talk and whatnot, and not have some random chuckle fuck that is a 49ers fan try and explain to me why Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback than Drew Brees. And that's a topic for a different day, because that made me so fucking mad, which was definitely rage bait. But anyway, like I said, follow it on Twitter, WDN4L_pod. Follow the YouTube page if you're not already watching this on YouTube. I'm going to try and get better at, editing things, so that maybe next time you're not just sitting here watching my face as I'm doing mock drafts. Maybe you're actually watching the mock draft happen. You know what I mean? I'm going to try and get better. Again, this is all new to me. I just wanted to be able to get my voice out there. But I really appreciate you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.